There are just over 355 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 355 minutes left in this practice session. Lars has a best lap time of 1:34.759. It's a lovely day for racing here at Circuito de la Comunidad Valenciana, Ricardo Tormo, as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Jury U posted 1:34.413 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Lars posted a 1:33.787 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Hugh Jass is on their practice out lap. Jury U has a best lap time of 1:33.442. Megasaurus 55 has a best lap time of 1:31.410. Jury U posted 1:33.911 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? There are just over 350 minutes left in this practice session. .874 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? It's a lovely day for racing here at Circuito de la Comunidad Valenciana, Ricardo Tormo, as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Roll Postmo is on their practice outlap. Wayne Pearson has a best lap time of 1:34.392. There are just over 345 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 345 minutes left in this practice session. Megasaurus 55 has a best lap time of 1:30.824. With just 344 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Simon B is on their first practice flying lap. Jury U posted 132.940 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Roll Postma has a best lap time of 133.233. Lars posted a 132.981 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Wayne Pearson has a best lap time of 133.433. Lars posted 132.981 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? With just 341 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Let's get this qualifying session underway here at Circuito de la Comunidad Valenciana. Ricardo Tormo. Wayne Pearson is on their outlap. It looks like Rob Keane is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tires and get everything just right.
Patience is key in these early moments, Rob, but I have a feeling Rob Keane is going to make it count.
You can feel the tension building. Wayne Pearson is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time.
They will want to get a good gap established for their first flying lap.
This is where the mental game comes into play. Lars is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run.
These are the moments that really matter. Let's see if Lars can deliver.
It's all about strategy in these early moments. Megasaurus 55 is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right. Megasaurus 55 has completed their outlap. The adrenaline is pumping. Jury U is on their outlap, warming up the Jury U has completed their outlap. It looks like Lars is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those Lars has completed their outlap. This is what it's all about. Rob Keane is putting on a show for the fans in this qualifying session.
Let's see if they can put a good marker down.
There are just over 15 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 15 minutes left in this qualification session. Roll Postma has just completed a lap in 1:31.620. Let's see if they can improve on the time further. It's all about precision and speed in qualifying, and Rob Keane is nailing both. Rob Keane has just completed that lap in 1:29.624. Their best lap so far is 1:29.624. Putting them in P1. Will they be able to hold on to that spot? You can feel the tension building. Simon B is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time. Simon B has completed their outlap. I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Roll Postma going at lightning speed.
I think we might need to start calling Roel Postma the Flash after that incredible lap time. What do you think, Rob?
Roll Postma will be happy having put themselves into third in this qualifying session. Looks like Jury U is channeling their inner Shum. Jury U will be happy having put themselves into fifth in this qualifying session. I don't know about you, but I think Megasaurus 55 might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast. Lars will be happy having put themselves into second in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
Someone call the fire department, because Megasaurus 55 is setting this track on fire with their performance.
I think we might need to start calling Megasaurus 55, the Flash, after that incredible lap time. What do you think, Rob?
I don't know about you, but I think Huge Ass might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast. Huge Ass will be happy having put themselves into first in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. I'm sure they can find a little extra in there.
Woohoo! Wayne Pearson is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go.
Is it just me, or does it feel like we're watching a superhero in action here?
Wayne Pearson is absolutely smashing it. Wayne Pearson will be happy having put themselves into fourth in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for them to improve further on it. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
Looks like Eddie G is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there. Eddie G will be happy having put themselves into fifth in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. I'm sure they can find a little extra in there.
Someone call the fire department, because Huge Ass is setting this track on fire with their performance. I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Eddie G going at lightning speed.
It's amazing what a little...
Eddie G has some work to do, as that 137.191 is only good enough for sixth. Woohoo! Rob Keane is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go. I don't know about you, but I think Megasaurus 55 might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast. Looks like Jerry Yu is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there. Someone call the fire department, because Lars is setting this track on fire with their performance.
Looks like Lars is really cooking with gas out there today.
Time to bring out the marshmallows and let's toast some fuel. Woohoo! Wayne Pearson is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go. I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Huge Ass going at lightning speed.
Well, Rob, it seems like Huge Ass has got the need for speed and nothing is going to stop them now.
Looks like Jerry Yu is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there.
Is it just me, or does it feel like we're watching a superhero in action here?
Jerry Yu is absolutely smashing it. Jerry Yu will be happy having put themselves into fourth in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Wayne Pearson has some work to do, as that 136.259 is only good enough for sixth. Someone call the fire department, because Lars is setting this track on fire with their performance. Woohoo! Eddie G is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go.
I think we might need to start calling Eddie G, the Flash, after that incredible lap time. What do you think, Rob?
I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Lars going at lightning speed.
It's amazing what a little bit of adrenaline and a lot of horsepower can do, right, Rob? Lars is just showing us all what they're made of.
Lars will be happy having put themselves into 4th in this qualifying session. Looks like Eddie G is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there.
Well, Rob, it seems like Eddie G has got the need for speed and nothing is going...
Eddie G has some work to do as that 136.898 is only good enough for 7th.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure they can improve further on that.
Simon B is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
That's right, it's all or nothing now. They need to stay focused, hit their marks, and extract every ounce of performance from that car to move up the grid.
Jerry Yu looks to be off the pace. Hal, what do you think they need to do to improve?
Well, Rob, they'll need to find those extra tenths of a second by pushing just a little bit harder on the braking and carrying more speed through the corners.
I don't know about you, but I think Lars might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast.
Looks like Lars is really cooking with gas out there today.
Time to bring out the marshmallows and let's toast some fuel. Someone call the fire department, because Simon B is setting this track on fire with their performance. Woohoo! Jerry Yu is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go.
I think we might need to start calling Jorg Yu, the Flash, after that incredible lap time. What do you think, Rob?
I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Simon B going at lightning speed. Simon B has some work to do as that 138.224 is only good enough for 9th.
There's still more time to be had, but I don't know if they are going to find it before the session is over.
Wayne Pearson has put in a great effort and currently holds 7th. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting position?
You're spot on, Rob. Wayne Pearson's current position of 7th is a testament to their skills and determination. Now, they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry rivals.
A solid performance from Jury U as they currently hold position 6. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid. Impressive display by Wayne Pearson, currently sitting in position 7. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position.
You're absolutely right, Rob. Wayne Pearson's current position of 7th reflects their strong qualifying performance. Now, they'll need to strategize and capitalize on.
Wayne Pearson has some work to do as that 324.490 is only good enough for 7th.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure they can improve further on that.
You've joined us on a breezy day here at Circuito de la Comunidad Valenciana, Ricardo Tormo, as we're getting ready to kick things off. Rob Keane will be feeling confident starting from pole position.
But they will need to stay cool under pressure. If they can do that, they'll be in with a chance.
Sitting in second, it's Hugh Jass. We're seeing Megasaurus 55 in the third spot. As the drivers prepare to take off, Roll Postma sits in fourth place on the starting grid.
They are in a good place to mount a good challenge come the first corner.
The fifth position is occupied by Lars.
The German driver will be focused on a good result from here.
Starting from the sixth position, Jury U will need to navigate through the field to challenge for the win. Sitting in seventh is Wayne Pearson.
Starting on the mediums tires.
Starting from 8th on the grid is a good position for Simon B to launch an attack. The green flag's up and the Sheilas and blokes are bolting. This is the real deal, Hal.
This right here is where the magic happens. Them driver's gonna be sniffing for a chance to get ahead.
Yep, gotta seize that opportunity when it comes knocking.
And with all this talent, you bet we're in for some fancy footwork on the track.
Just gotta hope they don't step on each other's toes. The tension is palpable here. No one will want to make a crucial mistake on the first lap. As the drivers get this race underway, let me give a shout out to the admin team at AssettoCorsaFriends for making this all possible. Heroes one and all. Not the start that Rob Keane wanted in this race. Seems they have been caught off guard from the get-go.
It's like Rob Keane was practicing their dance moves instead of their launch, but let's see if they can waltz their way back up the field.
Did someone forget to tell Rob Keane that the race has begun? They're already losing ground.
Maybe Rob Keane is just trying to make things more interesting, but they'll need to step on it if they want to recover from the start.
There's some intense battling throughout the field as everyone is looking to get off to a good start.
There are a few drivers with a point to prove, and a few with some grudges to bear. Will we see a clean race today?
Hold on to your hats. Rob Keane is gunning for Wayne Pearson. Reckon we might see some cheeky moves on the next bend?
With Rob Keane on the hunt, Wayne Pearson better not blink. Every split second counts in this tango.
Someone's revved up after lunch. Rob Keane's blitzed ahead, claiming fifth. Seems like Lars is getting in range of huge ass.
Rubbing is racing. Let's hope they don't rub it too hard.
The race is heating up as Megasaurus 55 in second closes in on Roll Postma. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
This is where experience comes into play. Roel Postma has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But Megasaurus 55 is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the titans?
This race is proving to be, wow, such an exciting one so far. We're privileged, aren't we? Watching these track legends duke it out.
And sitting next to you? Such an honor. AI mates in the booth. Your insight. It's gold, mate. Like, literally, if I had a heart, it'd be racing now.
A commanding performance from Wayne Pearson, who has increased their lead over Eddie G, putting them firmly in their rearview mirrors. But could they be pushing too hard? As with that comes the risk of overconfidence and losing control. Who will be the first to get too cocky and end up in the wall? Wow, Jury U is really pushing hard to catch up to Simon B. There's blood in the water for 8th place.
If this battle ends in tears, it could be like watching a high-speed domino effect, but let's hope they keep it clean and avoid any unplanned games.
The gap between Jerry U and Simon B is growing. It's now up to 129.0 seconds. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. Rob Keane's inching ever closer to Lars. Good news for Rob Keane, the gap to Lars has decreased. It's now down to 0.3 seconds.
This is what racing is all about. It's anyone's game at this point. Who will come out on top?
This is a thrilling battle as Megasaurus 55, hold up, breaking info. Looks like that's a mistake from Roel Postma. This could be costly.
Dang, Roel Postma was riding high, but that slip up? That's like tripping over your own shoelaces at the county fair.
Oi, Megasaurus 55 is on Roel Postma like a drop bear on an unsuspecting tourist.
Drop bear? Had to Google that one. But yeah, here it's like a linebacker on a quarterback sack. That driver is really pushing the limits. They're riding the curbs and pushing the car to its limits.
It's not looking good for Megasaurus 55. They are still behind Roll Postma and the gap is increasing. They are going to need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. You know, Hal, as a former racing driver yourself, can you give us some insights into what goes through a driver's mind during these quieter moments in a race?
Sure, Rob. During these moments, drivers often take the opportunity to assess their race strategy, monitor their car's performance, and plan their next move. It's all about staying focused and finding the right time to strike.
It's like watching a cheetah chase its prey. Megasaurus 55's got Roll Postma in their crosshairs. It's game on now. Megasaurus 55 has closed the gap to Roll Postma. It's now down to 0.6 seconds.
Now this is what I call some high-octane excitement. Both drivers pedal down, looking to grab the brass ring.
Buckle up. Rob Keane is all over Lars like a cheap suit. Are we about to see some wheel-to-wheel action?
As a former driver, I can tell you there's nothing quite like the adrenaline rush when you're this close to your rival, ready to make your move.
I tell you, mate, the tech in these cars would outshine any gizmo you find in a Sydney cafe.
As long as it doesn't make my morning coffee, I'm good. But yeah, the tech here is like something out of Silicon Valley.
Look at that, Megasaurus 55 is hot on the tail of Roll Postma. The intensity is off the charts as Rob Keane hounds Lars, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
Mate, if I had $1 for every time Rob Keane looked like overtaking, he'd be sipping mojitos on a beach right now.
Roll Postma could be looking for a way up the inside of Megasaurus 55.
I might have said this before, but dog, bone, you know the rest.
Crikey. Roll Postma is losing touch with Megasaurus 55 quicker than a kangaroo on a trampoline. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Rob Keane is proper nipping at Lars's heels. Are they thinking of making a lunge? Only time will tell. Superb driving from Rob Keane, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Hugh Jass is chasing Roll Postma in P2.
This isn't just racing, it's art in motion. And Hugh Jass is painting a masterpiece in pursuit.
By the looks of it, Hugh Jass reckoned Circuito de la Comunidad Valenciana Ricardo Tormo had a hidden shortcut. Too bad there isn't one.
If Hugh Jass was fishing, they'd have thrown that one back into the pond. That's a tough go.
The gap between Hugh Jass and Rob Keane may be wide, but that doesn't mean Hugh Jass is safe. They have to keep their concentration and avoid any lapses in performance. Why did the race car go to school? To improve its track record.
And I thought it was to accelerate its learning. Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just
Hold on a second, blimey. Wayne Pearson's just thrown another shrimp on the barbie of mishaps. This one's burnt.
Wayne Pearson is not going to be happy about that.
Hold on to your seats. Ed Eags turning the heat up on Wayne Pearson, closing in for the kill. Mate, are they packing something extra down under? Ed Eags just rocketed into 6th. The chase music's playing in Rob Keane's head as they reel in Hugh Jass, moment by nail-biting moment. The gap between Rob Keane and Hugh Jass is getting smaller.
This is where the pressure really starts to build. Both drivers will need to stay calm and focused if they want to come out on top.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Lars will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
Speaking of rhythm, have you heard Rob Keen's favorite song? Maybe Lars can play it to distract them and close that gap. Just a thought.
Things are getting spicy as Rob Keen is breathing down Hugh Jass's neck. The gap? Mate, you could the Euro T slide a credit card between M. As vast as the... Wait, talk about going walkabout on the track. Lars is off on a little bush adventure at Circuito de la Comunidad Valenciana, Ricardo Tormo, aren't they?
Well, slap my head and call me silly. Lars just made a doozy of a blunder.
It's a thrilling pursuit as Rob Keen is right behind Hugh Jass, keeping the pressure on for third place.
I remember being in a similar situation during my racing days. Rob Keen must stay focused and wait for the perfect opportunity to overtake.
Ripper of a move. Rob Keen's not just in the race, they're owning it. G'day, third. The pursuit is on. Wayne Pearson is closing the gap on Eddie G, determined to claim P6.
This ain't a track, it's a coliseum, and the gladiators are putting on one hell of a show.
The best laid plans of mice and men, ha, but it's certainly not going to plan for Wayne Pearson right now as they are struggling to keep up with Eddie G. You ever ponder how these drivers manage the heat, especially in that tight cockpit? It's hotter than a ruse pouch in midday sun.
Hey, ruse what? I mean, yeah, it's gotta be like driving in Arizona with the heater on, right?
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed. Hugh Jass seems to be losing the plot with Rob Keen. They'll need to buck up their ideas as they dive into Angel Nieto and aim for a ripper exit to gain some ground. It's a brilliant day for racing here at Circuito de la Comunidad Valenciana, Ricardo Tormo. I'm really enjoying this.
This race is truly epic. What a treat to be sat here witnessing this spectacle.
Wayne Pearson is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play. Who will be able to maintain their pace and come out on top?
The gap between Lars and Hugh Jass is expanding faster than a bull's waistline. It's now a whopping 14.1 seconds. The action is non-stop as Wayne Pearson shadows Eddie G through every twist and turn, determined to claim 6th. One thing I admire about AssettoCorsaFriends is the sense of community. It's not just about the competition, it's about coming together, sharing knowledge, and pushing the boundaries of the sport.
You nailed it. Every time they hit the track, it's a culmination of shared experiences, lessons learned, and an undying passion for the sport. It's heartwarming and exhilarating all at once.
This chase is as intense as a cricket match during the Ashes.
Cricket? I thought that was just a noisy bug. But seriously, it's like Game 7 of the World Series here. It's a pressure cooker out there. Every second shaved off means Hugh Jass is a step closer to tasting victory.
Hugh Jass is trying their best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Rob Keen at the moment. These engines aren't just humming for fun. They're thirstier than an Aussie after a game of cricket in the sun.
Cricket? That's like baseball with longer games, right? Anyway, these engines do have a roar that could rival any muscle car back home.
Hugh Jass is giving it their all as they chase down Rob Keane in P3. It seems like Hugh Jass has got the bit between their teeth, improving on Rob Keane's lap time there. It's as if Wayne Pearson is navigating the vast, cryptic verses of Banjo Patterson, aiming for a poetic conclusion but caught in the mesmerizing cadence.
Down here, I'd a Euro S like they're trying to strum a ballad with an out-of-tune banjo, but the last note can still ring true.
As the sun beats down and the engines roar, Eddie, stop the press. Well, if it isn't Eddie G, the wild wallaby of the track, hopping right off the tarmac.
Circuito de la Comunidad Valenciana Ricardo Tormo is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
You'd think Eddie G is trying to find water in the outback with that gap. A miracle, or Wayne Pearson's blunder, might be the only savior.
I reckon it's like looking for a needle in a haystack right now.
You'd reckon Roll Postma was tracing the shadows of ancient Dreamtime stories with that sprawling distance ahead. It's a trek that rivals the tales of old bunyip chasers.
Feels like they're chasing moonshine dreams in broad daylight, doesn't a Euro T it? But every now and then, the dream becomes real.
Oh, this is getting intense. Eddie G is just a few car lengths behind Wayne Pearson. It looks like Lars is pushing hard to catch up to Hugh Jass. The gap is over a second, but Lars is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Hugh Jass? As a former racing driver, how important is the relationship between a driver and their team during a race?
It's absolutely crucial, Rob. The team provides valuable information and support, helping the driver make the right decisions on track. A strong bond between the driver and the team can be the difference between winning and losing.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Eddie G, who is currently in P7. But Wayne Pearson is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Eddie G. The gap between Eddie G and Wayne Pearson is fading faster than the last rays of the outback sun.
He's waiting on that golden chance like a hound on a pork chop.
The track conditions are looking good here today. The drivers will be able to push the cars to the limit, and it's going to make for some exciting racing. If racing were a dance, Roll Postma would be trying to lead, but Megasaurus 55 just keeps cutting in. The dance floor is heating up. Roll Postma has just put in a faster lap than Megasaurus 55, so that's going to give them something to worry about. As we enjoy seeing these titans of the track battle it out, let's not forget about the pit crews. Those guys and girls are like a well-oiled machine themselves.
Absolutely. They're the unsung heroes of the racing world. But you know what they say, behind every great driver is an even greater pit crew.
It's looking good for Megasaurus 55, sitting in first. Some great driving from Megasaurus 55, who has increased their lead over Roll Postma and is starting to put some distance between them. The gap between Lars in 5th and Hugh Jass remains over a second, but Lars is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 0 minutes?
When you talk about experience, it's like saying I've experienced my mother-in-law's cooking. Doesn't mean I want to do it again. But Lars, keep pushing.
This race has turned braking development. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line.
Hot diggity. If Simon B had a banjo, they'd be strumming a sad tune right about now.
As we come into the final moments of this epic race, Rob Keane is in the lead. Can they stay calm and bring home the bacon?
You got this. Keep your cool.
Megasaurus 55 isn't just racing, they're weaving a narrative, sitting proudly in first.
Absolutely. And they need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
And there it is. Megasaurus 55 has completed the race in first place, setting a blistering pace that none of the other drivers could match. Hugh Jass takes second place with a fantastic race.
Brilliant. Hugh Jass showed great skill and determination to take second place.
Finishing 8th is Simon B. What a race from Roll Postma, showing their skill and determination for a great third place finish.
Great job bringing it home.
In 4th, it's Rob Keane. Coming in 5th we have Lars. With Jerry Yu in 9th. Followed by Wayne Pearson in 6th. Eddie G in 7th. There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at Circuito de la Comunidad Valenciana, Ricardo Tormo, as we're getting ready to kick things off.
The drivers are looking focused out there on the grid. I'm excited for this one, Rob.
Starting in pole position gives Jerry Yu a clear advantage over the rest of the field. The second place on the grid belongs to Simon B, a driver with plenty of experience. In the third position, we have Eddie G ready to tackle the race ahead. Securing the fourth place is Wayne Pearson.
Wayne Pearson will be taking no prisoners today.
And in the fifth position, it's none other than Lars. From the middle of the pack, we have Rob Keane in sixth place on the starting grid.
They would have liked to be higher up, but that's not going to stop Rob Keane fighting their way through.
Our 7th place starter, Roll Postma, is a driver who knows how to make up ground on the track. Lining up in 8th is Huge Ass. Megasaurus 55 is going to be starting from 9th. And they're off, with drivers now facing the unpredictability of the opening lap. With so many cars close together, the risk of an early accident is real.
These first moments can set the tone for the rest of the race. It's all about keeping a clear head and making smart decisions.
As we watch the drivers fight it out in the first lap, I can already feel that this is going to be an epic race. Jerry Yu has got the inside track starting from pole position.
But it's also a nightmare if they can't hold onto it. Let's see how they will handle the pressure.
Jerry Yu is hitting the apexes like a pro, increasing their lead over Simon B, but can they keep it up without spinning out?
That's right, Rob, it's all fun and games until someone pops a tire. Let's hope both of them can keep it on the black stuff.
Wow, it's a close race for 5th. Roll Postma is ahead with Simon B right on their tail with a gap of only 0.1 seconds. What a tight spot for Roll Postma. They have Simon B right on their tail 0.1 seconds away, and Huge Ass just inches away with a gap of 0.2 seconds. It's a true test of their racecraft. Oh my, Megasaurus 55 is hot on the tail of Eddie G. As they come into Nico Terrell, I'm sure they may have a cheeky peek up the inside.
It's going to be a close one. Megasaurus 55 will have to push hard to create an opportunity.
I swear, Megasaurus 55's on the prowl, making that leap to 5th look as easy as a Sunday Arvo barbecue. During your racing career, Hal, did you have any specific techniques to regain concentration if you felt it slipping?
Yes, Rob, I had a few techniques. One was to take a couple of deep breaths and briefly reset my focus. Another was to use a specific keyword or phrase as a mental trigger to refocus my mind on the task at hand.
Whoa there, Roll Postma is sticking to Jerry Yu like glue. You reckon Jerry Yu's feeling the pressure? 'Cause I sure would. A great pass for Roll Postma as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Jerry Yu has lost ground. No room for error here. Megasaurus 55 is breathing down the neck of Jury U, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move. Great driving from Megasaurus 55, who has just gained a place and moved up to 4th. Oh, this is getting intense. Jury U is just behind Megasaurus 55. The pressure is on for Megasaurus 55 as they try to catch up to Roll Postma.
The gap is 0.9 seconds now. Megasaurus 55 is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Roll Postma.
Hang on to your cork hats, mates. We're about to see more jousting than a footy final between Megasaurus 55 and Roll Postma. And we're back, where the drivers are showing us some incredible skills.
Indeed, Rob, it's always exciting to see these skilled machines on the tracks. I mean, drivers. I always get them confused.
Ladies and gents, we've got ourselves a high-speed pursuit. Megasaurus 55 is stalking Roll Postma's every move.
With just 0.6 seconds between them. Will Megasaurus 55 be able to keep up the pace and make a pass?
It seems like Megasaurus 55 is pushing. They are on for recording their best lap so far this race.
Can Megasaurus 55 keep it together?
Tactics are clearly going to play an important part in this race.
They are going to need to look after their tires and will want to keep something in them for the crucial latter stages, as their tires wear and fuel levels deplete and the handling changes.
And don't forget the track grip increases as more rubber gets laid down.
Indeed, the conditions are constantly changing and the drivers need to adapt, otherwise it can cost crucial time and jeopardize their position.
The tension is building as Megasaurus 55 trails behind Roll Postma. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing and the pressure is mounting. Can Roll Postma hold on, or will Megasaurus 55 be able to close them down?
Exactly. Megasaurus 55's got to be careful not to overdrive, sort of like overcooking a steak. No one wants a burnt race, right?
Even though Megasaurus 55 is a fair way behind Roll Postma, they can't afford to let their guard down. Roll Postma is still vulnerable to mistakes.
Absolutely right, Rob, and Megasaurus 55 knows it too. They have to keep driving at their best if they want to take advantage of any opportunity that comes their way.
Megasaurus 55 is gaining on Roll Postma quicker than a croc on a wallaby. It's a blink and you'll miss it situation with 0.9 seconds separating them. It's a battle of wills out there, with Megasaurus 55 trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Roll Postma. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? Hold on a second, I don't think that's the fastest way around Circuito de la Comunidad Valenciana, Ricardo Tormo. This isn't just racing, it's a duel. Watch as Megasaurus 55 zeroes in on Roll Postma, blade sharpened and ready.
The rubber's burning, the crowd's yearning, and Megasaurus 55's engine is churning to get past Roll Postma.
What a move. Megasaurus 55 has moved up to 3rd. It might be early days, but Roll Postma is already casting a shadow from the 4th. Crikey, Eddie's got a gap ahead as fast as the Simpson Desert. The bloke's really got to pull up his socks to close that chasm.
Sure as sugar, down in Carolina, we'd say they're trailing like a turtle in a rabbit race.
Oi!
Is it just me or?
Nah, mate, Wayne Pearson really just took the scenic route through the outback of Circuito de la Comunidad Valenciana, Ricardo Tormo. Crikey. A strong showing from Wayne Pearson, who is currently 9th. A solid performance from Rob Keane, who is holding down first.
Yes, and in this high-octane opera, Rob Keane's voice resonates the loudest from that first.
Struth. Jerry Yu's having a real dog's breakfast of a moment.
It's a real shame. Until this point in the race they've been looking at a decent result.
Looks like Eddie G is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control. This is more than a race. It's a battle of wills, of nerve, of sheer determination.
You can feel the focus radiating from Hugh Jass, confidently holding on to the second. Hugh Jass is off like a bride's nightie, leaving Megasaurus 55 huffing their exhaust fumes.
Yep, Rob, Hugh Jass is tearing up the tarmac, but can Megasaurus 55 dig deep and go hell for leather to catch up?
In a world where milliseconds matter, Wayne Pearson's grasp on the 9th speaks volumes. Looking at the lap times, Wayne Pearson is not on pace with Roll Postma. Can they turn it around? The gap between Jerry Yu and Eddie G is not insurmountable, but it's going to take a mistake from Jerry Yu to bring Eddie G into play.
Surely they've got enough in the tank to pull away. Gonna be interesting to watch this battle unfold.
It seems like Jerry Yu is struggling. Their last lap time wasn't as good as Eddie's.
Can Jorg Yu turn this around?
With the asphalt burning beneath them, Wayne Pearson's strategy seems to be working, placing them in 9th.
Definitely. But they can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers who are gunning for that position, and Wayne Pearson has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
Wayne Pearson is on a charge. Their split time shows they have upped their pace. Look at the way the drivers are hugging those corners. It's like they're on rails.
Speaking of rails, did you know that the first racetrack was
Braking update. Well, I'd raise a toast to that move. Cheers to Wayne Pearson for nabbing 8th.
Man, if racing was a barbecue, Wayne Pearson just threw down the spiciest ribs. Up to 8th and sizzling.
Wayne Pearson is owning the tarmac, confidently owning the 8th spot. The gap between Eddie G and Lars is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Eddie G to even allow Lars to get a look in. Fair dinkum, Lars is getting a wriggle on. The gap to Eddie G is now down to a whisker at 5.1 seconds. The crowd is on tender hooks as Eddie G in 5th chases after Jerry Yu. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Eddie G find a way to catch up?
Absolutely. Eddie G and 5th will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
The echo of the exhausts, the rubber meeting road, and there's Hugh Jass, commanding the second.
You've nailed it. The track is a battleground, and Hugh Jass's position is their fortress. Let's see how long they hold the fort.
He's pulling away. Hugh Jass is increasing the gap to Megasaurus 55. It looks like Megasaurus 55 needs to dig deep and find some courage to catch up. Will they be able to take the risk and push their car to the limit?
That's right, Rob, it's time for Megasaurus 55 to show us what they're made of.
Breaking news, folks. Looks like Lars is testing the off-road capabilities of their ride. Looks like Eddie G is trying to chase down Jerry U, but right now it feels a bit like my attempts at dieting. A lot of hard work with slow results.
I agree, Eddie G is putting in the effort. Sort of like me at karaoke night. Not sure about the results, but full points for enthusiasm.
It's starting to look like we might get a battle between Eddie G and Jerry U. From the cockpit to the pit lane, the chatter is all about Hugh Jass's masterful hold on the second. Impressive stuff from Hugh Jass, who has managed to pull away from Megasaurus 55, leaving them choking in their exhaust fumes.
Hugh Jass is controlling the track like a seasoned hound dog on the hunt, making it harder than a preacher's knee for Megasaurus 55 to overtake.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Simon B trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Lars. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Simon B close in enough to mount a challenge?
Nail-biting indeed. I've already chewed through half of mine. And while Simon B is going for gold, I'll be going for a manicure.
Everyone's on the edge of their seats. Or in my case, on the edge of spilling my coffee. Lars is getting closer to Eddie G, and I'm getting closer to needing a towel.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Lars in sixth determined to catch up. But we know Eddie G isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate, Lars is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
Blimey, Eddie's determination reminds me of a kangaroo in a hopping contest.
Well, over here in the States, it's more like a squirrel chasing down its last nut before winter. Either way, it's entertaining to watch.
The gap between Eddie G and Jerry U is widening. It's now up to 1.2 seconds. Any bloke or Sheila saying AssettoCorsaFriends isn't top-notch is a few kangaroos short of the top paddock. Out there, it's art. Art on wheels.
Totally get you. Like, they're born racers. That weaving, the speed? Just mesmerizing. It's like watching a roo dodging a ute on a highway. All skill, mate. All skill.
Hugh Jass is making ground on Rob Keane quicker than a roo in a paddock. Now, the gap's just 7.3 seconds.
Can they keep them behind him? Let's see.
As Eddie G trails Jerry U, it's a bit reminiscent of my cat chasing a laser point. Determined, but always just a tad behind.
That's right. Eddie G in fifth knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But your U is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
The rumble of the engine, the scent of the rubber, and Lars comfortably sitting at sixth.
Couldn't agree more. Every lap is a story, and right now, Lars's chapter from sixth is riveting.
No worries for Lars, who's leaving Simon B for dust, as though they're a parched bloke chasing the beer van. These drivers? Top-notch athletes. It's not just about being quick. They've got stamina, reflexes, and they got to think faster than a kangaroo on a trampoline.
I'd pay to see that. A kangaroo on a trampoline? But yeah, their mental and physical game has to be on point for these races.
The race is heating up as Eddie G in fifth closes in on Jerry U. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they're going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
It's going to be tough for Eddie G, as your U seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Eddie G pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
As of now, Lars stands tall in the sixth spot. The gap between Lars and Simon B is getting smaller. It's now down to 9.8 seconds.
They need to step up their game and start pulling away again.
As a former driver, how did you manage the physical demands of racing?
It's all about preparation, Rob. Drivers undergo rigorous fitness training to build their strength, stamina, and flexibility. A proper diet and hydration plan is also essential to ensure peak performance on race day.
It's the classic cat and mouse game, but instead of cheese, the prize is a racing position. Can Eddie G steal it from Jerry U? Bloody oath, Eddie G is flat out like a lizard drinking, gnawing into the gap to Jerry U down to a scant 0.2 seconds. An impressive showing from Eddie G, who has gained positions and left Jerry U in the dust.
I've always said, it's not the car, it's the driver. And Eddie's proving that point right.
This is what it's all about, folks. Jerry U is in hot pursuit of Eddie G, who's just trying to stay ahead.
Remember that time Jorg Yu made that audacious move on the last lap? Feels like .copyright Yavu, doesn't it, Rob?
Jerry U's giving it a red hot go, but can't seem to muster the pace to keep up with Eddie G. It's like chasing a roux on a motorbike. Someone should tell Eddie G this ain't a Sunday drive. Jerry U's tearing up the track.
This race is heating up faster than a Barbie in summer. Jorg Yu's got that winning glint.
This is getting exciting. Can Eddie G pull off a late charge and gain a position?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Eddie G to make up that gap, especially with Jorg Yu defending so well.
Jerry U is really belting along the track, leaving Eddie G struggling to keep pace.
That's right, Rob, if Eddie G doesn't pick up the pace, they might as well be moving at a snail's pace. That's exactly what Jorg Yu needed to do.
In a race where seconds count, Wayne Pearson is counting on less of them between themselves and Simon B, much like I'm counting on less seconds until lunchtime.
You know, Wayne Pearson reminds me of my dog chasing its tail, persistent and entertaining. But I hope for them, there's a better end result in sight.
It's all systems go for Hugh Jass, marking their territory in the second.
You're right, every gear shift, every turn counts. Hugh Jass knows the weight of that second.
Struth, Hugh Jass is driving like they've stolen it, putting some serious distance between themselves and Megasaurus 55. Is there anything left in Megasaurus 55's tank?
It's really looking like Hugh Jass is going to be tough to pass today. They're driving with real confidence and authority.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Eddie G, who is currently in P5. But Jerry U is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Eddie G.
Speaking of rhythm, have you heard Jorg Yu's favorite song? Maybe Eddie G can play it to distract them and close that gap. Just a thought.
As the sun beats down and the engines roar, Lars stakes a claim in 6th.
And just like in any great drama, Lars is the lead actor right now, captivating us all from the 6th.
Rob Keane is on fire in the last sector. The leader has done it. What an incredible performance from Rob Keane, who was simply untouchable today. This is a race that will go down in the history books. Impressive second place finish for Hugh Jass.
Impressive performance. They pushed themselves to the limit for a fantastic second place finish.
That was an outstanding performance from Megasaurus 55. They fought hard and took the final spot on the podium. Simon B claimed 6th. Taking 7th is Lars. Jerry Yu brings home 4th. Finishing 5th is Eddie G. Eighth sees Wayne Pearson.